Hi, this video is about what, why, how, and did you know about Christmas? Questions that I think many people in the world, Christians and non-Christians alike, must have asked. So, let me start with the question what? Okay, well, there are many questions about Christmas that start with what. I'd like to go with what about Christmas? And what message does Christmas bring? Or what is the significance of Christmas? Which I think are the most common questions asked by many people around the world about Christmas. So, what about Christmas? Well, from Christians' point of view, Christmas is all about honoring Jesus Christ's birth. And the Bible, from the book of Isaiah, chapters 9, verse 6, says, "For a child will be born to us, a son will be given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace." What else about Christmas? Let us say, what about the non-Christians' point of view about Christmas? Do they celebrate Christmas too? Maybe. Well, I'm not sure. But if they do, I think they don't celebrate Christmas as much as we do. They celebrate Christmas not because they honor Jesus' birth, but I think they celebrate Christmas basically as tradition. That's all. Now, I'm I'm gonna go to the question: what message does Christmas bring? The answer is of course love and peace. Well, by the way, I'd like to add some question here, like what is the product of after having love and peace at Christmas? The answer is, of course, generosity or good things like kindness. But what happens is, instead of giving, people in many cases tend to ask something or expect something during Christmas. Well, well, we know it's not bad to ask something you wanted in your life, but it's not what the message of Christmas really means. Why the message of Christmas is love? Because it is not only written in the Bible, this type of love that has brought about by Christmas has been present and intensely working in the hearts of believers and non-believers alike. First John chapter 4 verse 16 says, "And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them." No wonder Christmas has been celebrated by almost everyone regardless of religion. And why and by the way, take note that this type of love that we are talking about here is not the romantic and sensual love that is practiced by between two lovers, which is an erotic type of love. This type of love is actually of God that that He wanted to share to mankind to be lived with among His people, which which means we have to get this type of love working in our daily lives. As what First John chapter 4 verse 7 says, "Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God." So, let me go to the next question. Why the why the message of Christmas is peace as well? Because likewise, it is not only written in the Bible, peace has been experienced and enjoyed by many people around the world at Christmas because they both go together, love and peace, or in other words, when there is love, there is peace as well. Mainly because Jesus is known as the Prince of Peace in the first place. And let me read again the book of Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6, which says, "For a child will be born to us, a son will be given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace." Now, why Jesus' birth is being honored? It's because Jesus was born, as the verse says, with the great attributes such as Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, and Prince of Peace. I don't know how you and other people interpret this verse, but in my opinion, this verse that we read here is literally clear that Jesus' birth deserves to be honored. Then why Christmas is celebrated? The answer is already there, of course. As Christians, we celebrate Christmas because in the first place we honor Jesus' birth. For the non-Christians, they celebrate Christmas, I think, as a tradition only. That's all. Or maybe they are just influenced by the overwhelming celebrations that they see or notice during Christmas that's around them. Christmas is celebrated because, like anybody else's birthday, it is Jesus Christ's birthday. How Christmas is celebrated and how Christmas celebrations impacted people's lives worldwide. These two questions, I think, are the most common questions you and I must ask. So, for the question how Christmas celebrated, the answer is it depends. For Christians, for Christians, they celebrate Christmas religiously and it is personal because its message, which is love and peace, relates to the basic principle of their Christian faith that has something to do with their personal relationship with God, and that is through Jesus Christ. Christians believe that love is working in people's lives during Christmas. During Christmas, hate is overshadowed by love, differences between friends and families are reconciled, forget and forgive is the slogan in most cases, and misunderstandings have been resolved. Christians have that sincere feelings or emotion that is taking place deep in their hearts as they celebrate Christmas. It's gonna take about a month or so for Christians to celebrate Christmas because they believe because they don't seem to get tired of celebrating Christmas. In other words, if it's possible, they would seem to celebrate Christmas all year round. Sounds funny, but it is truth. It is the truth. How how non-Christians celebrate Christmas? Again, non-Christians celebrate Christmas, I think, not because they honor Christ's birth, but as tradition. That's all. How do we know that a person celebrates Christmas? Well, as we can see and notice, this Christmas season, people are putting Christmas decorations in almost every house, creating beautiful Christmas trees, attending Christmas parties and reunions, making spe- uh, special Christmas delicacies in almost all kitchens, putting sparkling and beautiful lights at night or 24 hours lights and things like that are signs that Christmas is being celebrated, that almost everybody got involved regardless of religion. And finally, let me go to the question, did you know about Christmas? So here, I just want to share with you some things that you or anybody didn't know about Christmas. In my search, number one, did you know that there are about 2 billion people worldwide who celebrate Christmas every year, and they are Christians and non-Christians alike? That's in my search. And number two, did you know the first recorded Christmas celebrations was after 300 years of Christianity? And my search, that's in my search. And well, does it mean to say that even Christianity has already been practiced for 300 years? Christmas was not celebrated? Well, that's what they say. I don't know. Therefore, if that's the case, the first and only recorded celebration of Jesus' birth within that period of 300 years of Christianity and way back to the birth of Jesus, in my opinion, was when Jesus was born in a manger. All who were there when Jesus was born, like the three wise men from far countries, just to offer precious gifts to, to the baby Jesus, which can be read from the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1 to 12, the shepherds, which can be read from the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 15 to 20, the great company of the heavenly host with an angel, which can be read from the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 14, and maybe some of the people who lived in Bethlehem when Jesus was born. Now, another thing. Did you know that things like Christmas tree, Santa Claus, and Carol has no biblical basis? Well, in my own search, in 1510, the first written recorded or decorated Christmas tree come from Riga, Latvia. Men of local merchants guild decorated a tree with, with artificial roses, danced around it, and the marketplace then set fire to it. The rose was used for many years and is considered to be a symbol of the Virgin Mary. While from other sources, Christmas tree is 17th century German invention, but it clearly derives from a pagan practice of bringing greenery indoors to decorate in midwinter. In 1530, in 1530 there is a record from Alsace, France. Uh, the trees were sold in the marketplace and brought home and set up undecorated. In 1600s, by the 17th century, it was common in Germany to decorate Christmas trees with apples. This practice was a holdover from the 14th and 15th centuries when evergreen bulbs hung with apples were the only prop used in the miracle plays that were performed at the churches on December 24. December 24 was Adam and Eve's day in the early Christian calendar, and the plays were used as ways of teaching the Bible to a largely illiterate population. In 1800s, the Christmas tree was introduced in the United States by German settlers, and it rapidly grew from tabletop size to floor to ceiling. In 1851, Christmas trees began to be sold commercially in the United States. They were taken at random from the forest. Today, approximately 25 to 30 million real Christmas trees are sold each year in the United States. Almost all of these come from the Christmas tree plantations. Now, let me go to the history of Santa Claus. Actually, it's a legend of Santa Claus. Accordingly, quote, Santa Claus, also known as Saint Nicholas, Kris Kringle, Father Christmas, or simply Santa, is a legendary figure originating in Western Christian culture who is said to bring gifts to the homes of well-behaved children on the night of Christmas Eve and the early morning hours of Christmas Day. Lastly, let me go to the Christmas carols. How did carol originate? Well, in my own search, there is no definitive history when was carol originated. But accordingly, the first carol was sung thousands of years ago in Europe, and that was a pagan song. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you like my video, please subscribe with my channel by clicking the subscribe button below. And lastly, let me wish you a very Merry Christmas. Thank you.